Right now, a manhunt underway in Texas for the suspect who opened fire, killing 5 members of one family. But first, a year after a scary porch collapse, partygoers return to Mifflin Street. Find out how last year's dangerous situation changed the vibe at this year's event. And after one was spotted in Mount Horeb yesterday, we find another black bear taking a snooze in a precarious place right in the middle of residential Madison. Those stories and more coming up right now at 6.
I bought a bottle of Galliano wine down on Bassett Street and just came up here. There was about 1/10 this number of people, and this was hippie kingdom, and it was political speeches all day. It's a party now.
Of course, nowadays, UW's Mifflin Street Block Party looks a lot different. The event started as a protest of the Vietnam War in the late 1960s and was used as a community fundraiser for various causes before fully becoming a block party. And the Mifflin Street Block Party has only gotten rowdier over the years, like last year, when 3 people were injured when a block party collapsed. But as our Braden Ross saw today, past dangerous situations haven't stopped the party.
My sister and her group of friends were taking a picture together, and all of a sudden I heard a crack, and all of a sudden the deck collapsed on this house over here.
This time last year, 3 people were injured when the balcony behind me collapsed on Mifflin Street, but that clearly hasn't deterred anyone from coming out again to the Mifflin Street Block Party.
After last year's balcony collapse left 2 people hospitalized, some of this year's partiers are a little bit wary.
I'm not going on the second floor balcony for sure.
I don't think I'm going to go on balconies just because I'm a little bit nervous about it. And I think last year really solidified that for me.
Mifflin Street resident Charlie Bitter says he knows the danger of treacherous balconies all too well.
My roommates upstairs were the ones who broke their back last year, so we're all very cautious and very careful on what we're doing this year.
He says this year they're not taking any chances.
We had the fire department come by this morning to make sure that we didn't have anyone on our porch because it's considered condemned by the city. We put caution tape around the outside. It's been an interesting day. So far, so good. We've been able to keep everyone off our porch.
City officials yesterday urging partiers to use caution when it comes to balconies.
Many of these structures are nearing 100 years old. The balconies may have been replaced over time. But when you have a lot of people crowded on a balcony that might all be jumping and dancing to the same song, you're creating a load that is not necessarily designed or intended to be supported by that structure.
But others say the party must go on.
I will be going on the balconies. That's the risk you take with Mifflin. Either you're here or you're not, and you're got to be here. If you're here, you're on a balcony. You know? On Mifflin Street, Braden Ross, News 3 Now.
And at this point, no injuries or property damage have been reported at this year's block party. You can stay up to date on channel3000.com to see if that changes. Well, clearly the chilly weather didn't deter anyone from partying either. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast for what could be a wet Sunday with meteorologist Jacob Madison.
Yeah, right now it's definitely chilly, but as a whole, today wasn't too bad. It wasn't ideal, but the sun was out at times, and even right now, it's kind of peeking in and out of the clouds. But the temperatures, like I mentioned, not ideal. Right now, 46 in Madison, much of our area in the 40s, lower 50s for some. The high temperatures did get into lower 50s, but the good news is that the rain pretty much held off for most of the day outside of early in the morning when we did see some moderate to heavy rain. But take a look at the temperature change from just 24 hours ago. Many places over 20 degrees colder than this time yesterday. So, yesterday was a much better day to spend time outside, but today wasn't too bad. Tomorrow definitely won't be a good day to spend outside. I'll talk about that in a bit, but first, here's a look at the wind speeds. We are going to see even windier conditions for tomorrow and Monday, but right now the winds are not too bad, but a lot of our areas seeing wind speeds over 10 miles per hour. Taking a look at Doppler track, we're only seeing some scattered light rain showers. We are going to see a more consistent rainfall tomorrow morning and throughout the afternoon, but during the evening hours, we're likely going to see very light showers. Most of the time, we won't see any rainfall, but temperatures will be pretty chilly. We'll drop to around 40 degrees by 10 p.m. or midnight. But like I mentioned, tomorrow is going to be colder and it's going to be a bit rainier than today. The details later in the show.
Jacob, thank you. New at 6 on a cloudy day like today, a nap sounds like a pretty great idea. And that's exactly what one bear had in mind when he decided to catch some Z's in a Madison man's backyard. A black bear could be found snoozing on a wide tree branch on the city's southwest side. For over 2 hours, Madison police stood by as a small neighborhood crowd gathered to watch in disbelief, surprised to see that an animal that's very uncommon in southern Wisconsin. The homeowner says he wasn't expecting company this weekend, but is amused by the furry visitor.
It's kind of cool. You don't see it very often. We've seen, the odd deer or turkey, but nothing ever this big for sure. He's just up in the tree, looks really comfortable there, and so haven't felt scared or anything, and we don't have pets, so we don't have to worry. We'll just stay out of the backyard, and he'll move along, I'm sure.
Right now, police say after consulting the DNR, there are no plans to relocate the bear. Instead, officers will keep an eye on the animal until it safely leaves the neighborhood. It's not known if this bear is the same one spotted yesterday in Mount Horeb. A manhunt is underway in Texas for the suspect who opened fire, killing five members of one family, according to law enforcement in a county outside of Houston. Officials say the deadly outburst was triggered when a neighbor asked the suspect to quiet down. Tina Kim has the story.
America's latest mass shooting erupted not in a public place, but at this private home in Cleveland, Texas, all triggered by, officials say, a noise complaint. The San Jacinto County Sheriff called the scene where 5 people, including an 8-year-old child, were gunned down late Friday night, quote, horrific. He said officers found several survivors, some young children, covered in blood in the home, but not hurt.
2 of the juveniles were found up underneath 2 of the deceased women that were in the bedroom. In my opinion, they were actually trying to take care of them babies and keep them babies alive.
The sheriff also said everyone killed, including the 8-year-old child, was shot from the neck up, quote, almost execution style. Capers added the victims are a family from Honduras. He said the suspect, the next-door neighbor of the victims, was apparently shooting a rifle in his yard and was asked to stop.
The victims, they came over to the fence, said, hey, do you mind not shooting out in the yard? We have a young baby that's trying to go to sleep, and he had been drinking, and he says, I'll do what I want to in my front yard.
Capers said the gunman then opened fire. He's been identified as 38-year-old Francisco Oropeza, a Mexican national. His alleged rampage is now part of at least 174 mass shootings so far this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive, which defines a mass shooting as 4 or more people shot, not including the gunman. I'm Tina Kim reporting.
The San Jacinto County Sheriff said overnight his investigators know the whereabouts of the suspect who had a habit of firing his weapon outside his home. The FBI is assisting in the search for the man. Next, to the conflict in Sudan, the United States is now evacuating its private citizens. The State Department confirms the first convoy to take private citizens out of the war-torn country arrived in Port Sudan today. The convoy traveled from Khartoum to the port. Some relatives of those initially trapped in the conflict say the United States should have acted sooner.
None of these people want to be in a war zone. None of these people want to have their kids' lives endangered or their loved ones in harm's way. And yet the United States government evacuated 70 diplomats on 3 helicopters and left the rest to rot.
The citizens who arrived at the port will now travel on to Saudi Arabia and will either stay or head to a final destination. The State Department spokesperson says the United States has reached out to its citizens in Sudan and has offered to help anyone who wants to leave the country. Staying overseas in Ukraine, a suspected drone strike caused a massive fire in Russian-occupied Crimea today. This was the scene in the port city of Sevastopol, where a fuel storage facility was on fire. According to the Russian-backed governor of the city, 4 fuel tanks were hit. No one was injured. According to the governor, the fire has since been, quote, completely extinguished, and the fuel supply in the city will not be affected due to the fire. Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has vowed to liberate all of the country's territory, including Crimea. Well, coming up right after the break, despite the weather, Bucky shows up strong for the 41st annual Crazy Legs Classic Run and Walk. And later tonight at 10, fire up your grills and get your Lactaid ready because we're cheesing for the 10th annual Grilled Cheese Championship in Dodgeville.
When it comes to what's best in a mattress,
big ol' springs,
memory foam,
springs,
foam. Denver Mattress says, why not both? Introducing the Doctor's Choice Hybrid with the cooling full-body comfort of gel memory foam and individually wrapped coils featuring Boss technology. All packed in this easy-to-manage box. Choose from the luxury firm, Plush, and Eurotop. And rest easy knowing it's backed by our 365-night Better Sleep Guarantee. The Doctor's Choice Hybrid, exclusively at Denver Mattress.
Hit the ground running in the most adventurous Honda vehicles yet. Like the Pilot and Passport Trail Sport. Or the Ridgeline, made more rugged with better off-road performance. And more capable with different driving modes available to conquer snow, mud, and sand. Adventure on in the Honda for you. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Well, today's gloomy weather sure didn't stop thousands of athletes from getting out for the 41st annual Crazy Legs Classic. The 8K run or 2-mile walk started at Library Mall and ended at Camp Randall Stadium, where the Crazy Legs block party was also held. It also raises money for the university athletic department, and officials say it's no surprise that a little clouds and chill didn't deter the massive Badger crowd.
Badger fans are hardy. Badger fans love to support, and we're so appreciative and grateful of all the support that we get.
And 3 Badger loyalists are credited for coming up with the event at a campus bar in late 1981. And meanwhile, the feet were moving over at Winnequa Park in Monona for the 2nd annual Gigi Fit Acceptance Challenges Dash for Down Syndrome. The event raises funds to keep Gigi's Playhouse programs free for the 460 families the Down Syndrome Achievement Center serves. We'll have more from the event tonight on News 3 Now at 10. And still to come here at 6, flooding closes one of America's largest national parks and could put California's agriculture at risk. And rain is on the way here tomorrow. Jacob has more on that in your First Warn forecast next.
Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or current Chevy owners get $37.50 total cash allowance on all 2023 Silverado pickups with a turbo high-output engine. Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
All right, team. We got a big project coming up. And it all starts with ordering promotional products.
I'm on it. 4imprint makes it easy to get the logoed products you're looking for. The latest in apparel, drinkware, bags, high-tech items, and more. You can be certain of getting it right at 4imprint.com. Come on out. I'm on it.
4imprint for certain.
Dealing with insurance companies can be scary. Sometimes they act like bullies. But at Habish, & Rotier, our specialty is dealing with bullies. Our seasoned trial lawyers have chosen to use their skills to represent individuals, not corporations and insurance companies. From car accidents to nursing home abuse to product liability, we have the reputation to cut bullies down to size. Habish, & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
The story of Scott the Window Guy starts with the crack of a bat and a broken window. Little did I know, Mom actually wanted her windows replaced. I'm Scott the Window Guy from AHT Wisconsin Windows. For the past 50 years, we've been replacing windows in Wisconsin with a 50-year warranty and a 10-year glass breakage guarantee to protect you
from kids like me.
Buy 7 windows by the end of the month and get the 8th free at scottthewindowguy.com.
With employee pricing at Denver Mattress, you pay what we pay. Backed by popular demand, our employee discount is available to everyone for a limited time. Get 15% off any single Denver Mattress Brand product when you spend $9.99 or more. And with our 365-night better sleep guarantee, you'll rest easy knowing you're getting the right mattress. Plus 4 years, no interest, and free shipping. Hurry! Employee pricing at Denver Mattress ends soon.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
People in the southeast are bracing for more severe weather this weekend. The biggest concern, large hail, strong gusting winds, and even the possibility of tornadoes for people all across the Gulf Coast of Florida. The South has already been hit by several rounds of strong storms this week. Last night, people in Texas saw golf ball-sized hail and hurricane-force winds. As Victor Blackwell shows us, the threat in the Midwest and California is continued flooding.
Flood watches across parts of California's Sierra Nevada mountains. The Park Service has closed Yosemite National Park until at least Wednesday. They fear the Merced River could rise to flood stage this weekend and potentially submerge some roads and critical infrastructure. Beyond tourism, heavy flooding could put billions of dollars of California's crops at risk. State representatives are already pushing for a disaster relief package to combat those potential losses. Today, the Southeast is bracing for more severe weather. Areas of Alabama to central Florida could see damaging winds, along with possible hail and maybe isolated tornadoes. Strong winds and golf ball-sized hail pelted the central part of Texas Friday before the storms moved east. And in the Midwest, the river gauges along the Mississippi are in major flood stage. The river is expected to crest in Iowa from Dubuque to Davenport by Monday, and water levels there are already high. Local businesses are trying to get ahead of the expected floods, but the rising waters have already taken a toll on that community.
We're looking at, with lost revenue, lost wages, cleanup, you're looking at, what, $50,000? You know, $75,000 losing, you know, in money and, you know, having to retrain people if somebody left. I mean, it's catastrophe.
More than 20 million people in the Southeast have the potential for severe storms this weekend. Well, let's get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Jacob Montezano. Jacob.
Well, we're not going to see any severe weather, but we have our own issues that we're going to have to deal with. We're going to see some showers continuing tonight and tomorrow, possibly Monday as well. And it's going to be very chilly with high temperatures only in the 40s. And it's also going to be pretty windy, so the feels like temperatures may be in the 20s with the actual temperatures likely going to be in the 30s at some point. And those winds are going to be gusting up to 25 to 30 miles per hour. Now, here's a look at Doppler track. We're looking mostly dry. There is some rain up to the north, and that's going to strengthen and move into our area during the overnight hours. But throughout the evening and early overnight hours, it's only going to be on and off rain. But by the time we get to tomorrow morning, especially after sunrise, we'll see more consistent precipitation. And yes, that means snow for some. I would say snow is likely, although we're not going to see any accumulation. The ground is just too warm. But this will continue throughout most of the day on Sunday. And take a look at these winds. They're going to be out of the northwest, really bringing those temperatures down. During the middle of the afternoon, highs will only be in the lower 40s. This will then break up a bit for Sunday evening, although some light rain and snow is still possible, but then more snow and rain is possible on the back end of the system as the precipitation comes from the northeast, and that could really impact especially places to the east of Madison. Out west, it probably won't impact you folks too much. This is Monday, by the way, but throughout the day on Monday, we're still going to see that snowfall for Madison and places to the east, and then it'll change to rainfall as the temperatures warm up. This is Monday once again. And then as we get to Monday evening, still going to see some lingering rain and snow. But then finally by Tuesday is when the system will clear out. So although the precipitation isn't expected to be heavy at any given point, it's going to last for quite some time. So the greatest chance of rain or snowfall will be tomorrow morning and Monday. So by the time we get to Sunday evening, we'll have a bit of a break, but still going to see some on and off rain showers, with the heaviest precipitation being off to the north and east. Places to the southwest not seeing quite as much precipitation. Now here's a look at the wind gusts. We are also going to see some pretty gusty winds. Tomorrow we'll see gusts up to 30 to 35 miles per hour, but then Monday we're going to see those gusts up to 40 miles per hour for some locations. Not the threshold for a wind advisory, but still windy nonetheless, and especially with those temperatures, it's going to feel very cold on Monday and Sunday rather. And then as we get to Tuesday, Tuesday, we'll still get to see those gusty winds, but it's not going to be as bad. So here's a look at tomorrow. High temperatures will only be in the lower 40s with scattered rain showers. Likely going to see some snow at times, especially early and late during the overnight hours, although the temperatures may be cold enough to where we could see some snowfall even in the late morning or early evening. So definitely just prepare for some rain and snow. And although we're not going to see any accumulation, it will make the roads slippery. Monday is also going to be cold with highs only in the mid-40s, more showers. It's going to continue to be windy and cold. Monday will actually be windier than tomorrow, but it will be slightly warmer. Overall, both days are going to feel very similar. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Good news is that we're not going to be this cold for the rest of next week. In fact, we're going to be very pleasant for much of next week. Starting Wednesday, we'll see high temperatures in the 60s, and then we'll continue to see 60s throughout much of next week. To start the week after, we actually may see high temperatures in the 70s. So once we get through these next couple of days, we're smooth sailing for quite some time. But unfortunately, it is going to feel like probably winter, in my opinion. I mean, I know we've had worse than the next couple of days, but considering the time of year, you know, I assume a lot of people are not happy. Hey, I'm not happy either about it, but it is what it is.
You're just a messenger, right?
Yeah, I'm just the messenger. But like I said, much nicer weather for much of next week, especially towards next weekend. It's going to be very nice.
Yeah, I don't like these whole roller coasters up and down. I was in shorts yesterday, and now I'm like bundled up again.
Well, like I said, we're smooth sailing after we get through, especially Monday. Tuesday will still be a little chilly, but by the time Wednesday rolls around, it'll be a lot better.
It's good weather for grilled cheeses. How do you like your grilled cheese? How do you make them?
I just make it simple. Just the cheese with the, you know, the butter spread. That's just.
You don't put a little mayo in there?
I'm not a fan of mayo, honestly. Nah.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, we'll work on that.
Wow.
Thanks, Jacob. Still ahead, Nick Herbig finally saw his name come off the board, and the former Badger is going to reunite with family and friends in Pittsburgh. Jordan has more in his collection next in sports.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
At Papa Murphy's, we build your pizza with the freshest ingredients. You take it and bake it fresh in your oven.
So technically, I make the pizza.
Right now, get the limited time Taco Grande pizza. Papa Murphy's, change the way you pizza.
Good news! This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes, and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Choose FlexBuy on Escape and get 0% APR financing for 66 months only at your local Ford dealer.
There's a reason big dental bills often come as a shock, because sometimes you don't realize what's not covered until you get the bill. That's why affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual is important. It can give you benefits that go beyond what you get from more limited coverage plans. Because no one likes a big dental bill, especially if you're retired or on a fixed income. For a free information kit, call or go online now. This isn't some discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps cover over 350 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures, at any dentist you want. Dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company helps cover preventive care, basic work, and major procedures, with no deductibles and no annual maximum. For your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Hang on tight, Wisconsin, because fun just got a lot faster. It's Fast Play from the Wisconsin Lottery, an all-new style of lotto games that combine instant wins with the progressive jackpot. Playing is easy at any lottery retailer. Just print, play, and know if you're a winner instantly. The progressive jackpot starts at $10,000 and grows with each ticket sold. The share of the jackpot increases with the price of the ticket. Fast Play is available now, only at Wisconsin Lottery retailers.
Show us your weather photos, and you could win a First Warn weather umbrella. Send us your weather pics in an email or on the First Warn weather app. We'll select and showcase the winning entries each day on News 3 Now This Morning and News 3 Now at 6. Send in your pics to win a First Warn weather umbrella today.
Well, there's about to be a reunion on the East Coast. Nick Herbig is heading to Pittsburgh after having his name called during the 4th round of the draft this afternoon. This comes one day after fellow teammate Keanu Benton was selected by the Steelers. Herbig is coming off a standout season where he led the Big Ten in tackles for loss with 15.5, while also recording 47 tackles, 11 sacks with 2 forced fumbles. While he joins former UW standouts in Benton and TJ Watt, he'll also be reunited with his older brother Nate, who signed with the Steelers this offseason. Packers taking care of both sides of the ball on the final day of the draft. The 4th round, they select Auburn defensive lineman Colby Wooden. In 3 seasons, he recorded 15 sacks, 29.5 tackles for loss. He also led the Tigers with 3 forced fumbles last fall. In the 5th round, the Packers go offense first, taking Penn State quarterback Sean Clifford. Over 4 years, Clifford threw over 10,000 yards with 86 scores and 31 interceptions. And with their second 5th round pick, the Pack get Virginia wide receiver Dontavian Wicks. He's the second wideout taken by Green Bay in this year's draft. Jaden Reed was drafted in the 2nd round. And in the 6th, they get Bowling Green defensive lineman Carl Brooks, Auburn kicker Anders Carlson, and in the 7th, Kentucky quarterback Harrington Valentine, Central Michigan running back Lou Nichols, Virginia safety Anthony Johnson Jr., and Charlotte wideout Grant DeBose. Doubleheader for Saturday for Wisconsin softball, and game 1 with Maryland is a pitcher's duel. It's scoreless until the 7th. The Badgers juice the bases, and Katie Keller has the big hit of the day. A sac fly drives in the 1 and only run of this game. Maddie Schwartz with a complete game shutout. She finishes with just 5 hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. But the Badgers do drop the second one, so it's a rubber match in Maryland tomorrow with first pitch at 1. Second round of the Insperity Invitational, Steve Stricker up 1 spot on the leaderboard. He drains his 3rd birdie of the day here on 17. He's currently tied for 5th and 5 shots off the lead. Steven Alker still sits atop the board at 9 under overall. As of now, 3 former Badgers are advancing to the 2nd round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. They are Joe Pavelski, Ryan Suter, and Derek Stepan. Suter assisted on the Stars' 2nd goal last night en route to beating the Wild 4-1, where Stepan assisted on the Hurricanes' overtime goal to move them past the Islanders.
Man, the NFL draft, everyone gets so hyped. All those players, it's crazy. And for a good reason, but man.
Some of them are very emotional, like when they get like the call and everything, and then, I mean, I'm a sucker for that. I watch the videos and then I start crying, so it's all good vibes.
Is it turning out how you want?
Yes, it was a very good draft this year.
What are the chances some of those late-round players actually end up, playing and making a big impact?
There's actually, very good shot and stuff. Another thing, too, is that if they, when they get into, the off-season workouts and everything, plus they've got, the summer for workouts and everything, they can really, upgrade what maybe their status was when they were in the draft. So it's a very good chance that you could see them out there. Yeah.
No one's outside today, though.
No, well, especially not tomorrow. We're going to see showers, especially in the morning, and some of that could mix with snow. Highs will only be in the lower 40s, and on top of all of that, it's going to be windy as well, but much nicer starting Wednesday of next week and continuing through the end of the week. So just got to get through these next couple days.
There we go. All right, everybody. So much for joining us. See you again at 10.